One of the greatest threats that we see, not just at HSI, but in law enforcement in general, is the growing fentanyl problem. I'm Mike Prado. I'm the Deputy Assistant Director for Homeland Security Investigations. I lead the DHS Cybercrime Center. One of the top priorities of HSI is trying to stem the flow of fentanyl across our border. The issue with fentanyl and opioids is they are so deadly. In 2023, we had over 107,000 overdose deaths. And it's not just traditional sales on street corner as it used to be many years ago. It's migrated into the virtual world, into the dark web.
I'm Special Agent Aaron Mann. I'm with the Homeland Security Investigations Cybercrime Unit. The Pharmacy 41 vendor case came to me in late 2018 after the July 2017 takedown of Alpha Bay Marketplace, and a lead was sent to me for an individual in the Sacramento region. On darknet marketplaces, what we call vendors are, narcotics distributors, and they ship narcotics across the United States through the mail system, and they receive payment in cryptocurrency. Once I identified the Pharmacy 41 vendor using some private sector blockchain analytics, I was able to see that there were several transactions that went directly from marketplaces to her cryptocurrency exchange accounts.
Being able to trace crypto is absolutely essential in virtually every investigation, but particularly narcotics trafficking investigations these days. We make arrests all day long. When we take out their money, that's when we really deal a significant blow to them.
So during the search of our residence, we found approximately $450,000 in bulk cash inside of the safe. And then I found a Trezor, which is a cryptocurrency hardware wallet. And there was approximately $1.2 million in Bitcoin and Ethereum on that Trezor at the time.
Everything ties to illicit proceeds, particularly crypto. It enables us to map out, for example, an entire criminal network, whether it's the financial aspect of the network, the operators who are smuggling.
Shortly after we arrested her, we ended up arresting her supplier, who was another individual in the Sacramento region. Both of those individuals were indicted and later sentenced. A little over $3 million in 2019 eventually became a $15 million forfeiture in 2022.
We will go wherever the case takes us. We are going to trace funds. We're going to unearth networks. We're going to disrupt and dismantle entire organizations. At the end of the day, the most important thing is protecting public safety.
After these messages, we'll be right back. Yeah.
How would you like to earn an extra $100, $200, or even $500 a day, even more than that? I have many friends that are earning money every single day trading futures on BTCC. It's a simple process, and even if you don't want to learn how to trade, you could follow a trader on the site and let him do the trading for you. So even if you don't know how to trade, there is a way to make money. But I suggest learn how to trade. Earn you some extra money on BTCC. It's easy, you don't have to KYC, and you don't have to use a virtual private network VPN. This is a wonderful site. They've been around since 2011. Give them a shot. Also, when you earn that extra money, you can store that on your Decent wallet. The Decent wallet was not affected by the recent XRPL debacle, where the backdoor of many wallets was open and there was a breach. So Decent wallet was not affected by that. Decent wallet is as safe as you keep your seed phrase. It's a wonderful product, and you can get the discount by using the link. It's the only way to get the affiliate discount, and that is to use an affiliate link. So that link is popping up on the upper right side of your screen, and it is the one that you will use. You will also get free shipping. Pick you up a Decent wallet today. Secure your assets. If you don't have them stored in a wallet and sitting on an exchange, then you're at risk. So pick you one up today. Thank you. Ripple, Hedera, Quant, Stellar, and SHX. From FedNow to FedRAMP, I'm going to get into why this is such a big deal. So consider sticking to the end of this outline. You're not going to want to miss a single thing that's being presented here, because this might very well be the biggest deal in crypto that most, not all, but most aren't talking about. Consider smashing that like. Let's get into the material. So the first thing is this. Simple Google search. FedRAMP and FedNow are two separate U.S. government programs with different purposes, but they have some overlap concerning the secure use of cloud technology. FedNow is not FedRAMP certified, but its associated service providers may need to be. So for one, we're going to jump into this and share some things. So for one, Ripple recently shared this. I'm not the only one talking about this, but it's important to note that Ripple is proud to be a founding member of TRM Labs Beacon Network, a first of its kind real-time crypto crime response network. Working with industry and law enforcement, Beacon helps stop illicit funds before they exit the blockchain. You see from X, like it says, TRM Labs preventing fraud and financial crime for digital currencies. And at least as far as we know, been on X, formerly Twitter, since September 2018. Now check this out. Take you to the trmlabs.com website. Blockchain investigation management. Investigate, monitor, detect, but basically prevent fraud and financial crime. Also gets even more interesting when you get further into their site because they have this. A learning path, blockchain analytics for financial institutions. And like it says, get started. But for compliance analysts and officers on the front lines of financial crime prevention, like it says, managing crypto exposure is no longer optional. It's essential. With the right tools, financial institutions are uniquely positioned to protect the integrity of the financial institution, or I should say system, while enabling innovation. In a nutshell, everybody, whether it's Ripple, Hedera, Quant, Stellar, SHX, and some of these other ones, you have to keep in mind we're trying to get away from that narrative of in the past, oh, crypto, or oh, Bitcoin back in the day. I don't want to get any part of that. I don't want nothing to do with that. I won't touch that with a 10-foot pole because it's tied to, for example, the Silk Road or drug cartels and so on. But yet everybody uses cash to pay their bills. So at the end of the day, keep in mind when we get more into this, you will see how Ripple and these other ones like Hedera, Quant, Stronghold, Stellar are all strategically positioning themselves with the right tools to prevent themselves from having any type of thing like a Silk Road. Okay? And I think that's important to basically mention. They have this area for solutions and banking solutions. Look what it says from one of their customers and a big customers or big customer. Quote, if we didn't have TRM by our side, it would take a lot of manual effort on our end to capture the information that's readily available within TRM. And who is that from? It's from a Visa representative. That is a big deal. And we know about the Visa connections to Ripple, Stellar, Quant, Hedera, you name it, right? On top of that, how about this from TRM Labs? Blockchain investigation and risk management. Monitor, detect crypto, digital asset fraud, and again, financial crime. And again, people don't realize all these key connections. And we'll circle back to this, no pun intended, about some of these key leading organizations. A little bit more about this. Let's take you over to this PDF I went ahead and downloaded. So for one, I want to point out that ransomware, according to TRM Labs 2025 Crypto Crime Report, ransomware has remained a prolific and growing threat in 2024, with 5,635 publicly reported attacks, surpassing 5,223 in 2023. The financial demands of ransomware actors have also reached unprecedented levels, exemplified by a record 75 million US dollar amount of payments made to the Dark Angels ransomware group in March 2024. These escalating ransom demands highlight the increasing boldness and sophistication of threat actors who are leveraging advanced tools and techniques to maximize their extortion efforts. There's a lot of other ones on this list, some huge names that are on this list in this PDF. I don't want this video to get flagged, so unfortunately I won't be sharing who that is. But if you want to download this TRM 2025 Crypto Crime Report, you can. Again, it's YouTube. It's not the best free speech platform. In fact, it isn't. So you can take a look into that report. Yes, some crazy organizations are a part of this list if you want to nerd it out. Take you further into this. Here's from TRM Labs LinkedIn. They posted this 11 months ago. Quote, being able to trace crypto is absolutely essential in virtually every investigation, but particularly narcotics trafficking investigations. When we take out a criminal's money, that's when we really deal a significant blow to them, says Mike Prado, Deputy Assistant Director of Homeland Security Investigations. And of course, he mentions the whole thing of TRM to disrupt crime at the heart of illicit activity on the blockchain. And check this out. Shout out to Francisco DenisLeal. Okay, he shared this with me a while ago, and you're going to see how this all came to fruition. Last year, because I know it says this year, but in reality it's last year because this is a 2024 screenshot. Ripple partnered with TRM Labs at Circle with the support of Elevandi and Ecosystem to host public-private roundtables discussing topics of critical importance for the industry, regulations around decentralized finance, and the future of digital payments. Here's another screenshot that's important because, as you see here, like it says, TRM, extra, TRM Labs secures FedRAMP moderate authorization. And at least at that time, like it says, they, as in TRM Labs, celebrated becoming the first and only FedRAMP moderate authorized blockchain intelligence platform, and we got the spread the news at that time at ACAM's Las Vegas. All right, that is worth sharing. Another visual from Francisco. You see this lady, Angela Ng, Senior Policy Advisor over at TRM Labs. You also see this person down here who is Nilmini Rubin, Chief Policy Officer over at Hedera. Okay, and also on the right, you see, for example, this lady from the CFTC. All right, a little bit more about this. Here's another screenshot from DenisLeal. You see here, regulation in a decentralized world, framework for DeFi governance and oversight. And then, of course, you see all these key people, some familiar ones, right, from Ripple. Let's blow this up a little bit. And basically, look what you see on the top right. You see Stuart Alderhody. That's important to point that out. And, of course, constant Ripple banners and key people also from Ripple. All right, so definitely we're sharing on that. Take you to this next part. This is from also TRM Labs, also from Francisco DenisLeal, reported back in June of 2024. TRM Labs, a leader in blockchain intelligence, announced it is in the process of achieving Federal Risk and Authorization Management Program, which is FedRAMP, and Impact Level 4 and 5 compliance through partnership with Palantir Technologies FedStart program. And like it says, this status marks a critical milestone in TRM's journey towards achieving full FedRAMP high authorization and authority to operate an ATO, underscores the company's commitment to meeting stringent federal security and compliance standards. Now watch this. Palantir. If you go over to here, it says AI-powered automation for every decision. What in the world is that about? Well, as you see here, deploying the Army's first AI-defined vehicle. Okay. Sounds like a lot of connections to defense, right? Supporting Army data platform strategy and joint multi-domain operations. And like it says here, as I shrink this down just a tad, the defense reformation. So clearly some things connected when it comes to Department of Defense, so on and so forth. Warp Speed, the manufacturing operating system for American reindustrialization, made for the fourth industrialization age. Draw your own conclusions. Take you further into this. Look at what it says here from this medium. We're at blog.palantir.com. Originally reported June 21st, 2023, introducing Palantir FedStart, helping software service companies do business with the government. Okay, is that it? No. Watch what it also says. Introducing Palantir FedStart. Palantir FedStart is the proverbial scissors that can cut through all this red tape. FedStart serves as an on-ramp to help deliver your software service products to the government at the speed of innovation. And look what it also says. Your company's products are run within Palantir's secure and credit environment. No need for separate FedRAMP or IL5 accreditation. You can containerize your software. You can use FedStart in weeks to sell as an accredited solution for quick product delivery and impact. FedStart unlocks FedRAMP, Moderate, and IL5, the security accreditations required to sell to civilian agencies and the Department of Defense, respectively. That's important. A little bit more about this. TRM Labs, another screenshot from Francisco DenisLeal. We see here Hedera Hashgraph and TRM Labs' new integration provides industry-leading security and compliance. I get it. A lot of people know about this. But again, like I always point out, there's a new wave of people. There's always one Yahoo who's like, yeah, well, so-and-so shared this back in 1492 when Columbus sailed the ocean blue. All right, well, good for that person. All right, look at this. TRM, San Francisco, California, Texas, Dallas, Texas, Hedera Hashgraph, enterprise-grade distributed ledger technology, or I should say distributed ledger, TRM, cryptocurrency compliance and risk management. Again, announced the successful integration with Hedera. Okay, tad bit more, just to pound it home. What you see here, TRM is backed by leading investors, including PayPal, and we know that PayPal did some big things recently with Stellar, and we'll cover a little bit about Stellar here in a bit. But TRM, headquartered in San Francisco, California, with offices in Washington, D.C., and even Europe. All right, a little bit more about this. There's this place called marketplace.fedramp.gov. Because if we're going to talk about, for example, FedNow and share some key things, why not reference FedRAMP in some key things? So there's Palantir is part of that list for this marketplace. Okay, as you see here, FedRAMP Marketplace, and you do see your Palantir, Federal Cloud Service Supporting Services, Software Services, Impact Level High, FedRAMP Authorized. Now watch this. Take you further into it. Does it mention anything about TRM? Well, it does. It says it right below the service description, and as you see here, boil it, mash it, stick it in the stew. TRM Labs provides blockchain intelligence to combat crypto-facilitated crime, support agency compliance, enabling investigation, monitoring, detection, tracing cryptocurrency transactions across 30 blockchains and over 70 million digital assets in a unified graph. Okay, so that helps solidify, does it not? Absolutely. Authorized service, and like it says, other services, and you see TRM Labs listed right there. Boom. Go to marketplace.fedramp.gov if you want to view more about it. Now, the other thing I want to jump into, okay, is I want you guys to see here that, again, there's other outlets sharing this. And again, back to that video you saw, TRM Labs launches Beacon Network, first real-time crypto crime response network. We don't need to play that video again, but you do see here that basically you have Coinbase, Binance, PayPal, Robinhood, Stripe, Kraken, Ripple, Crypto.com, all these other ones, Anchorage Digital, which we'll talk about here in a bit. And like it says, others form network and law enforcement to stop illicit actors off-ramping the proceeds of crime. So it's not just like your Ripples and so on, other ones that have some kind of connection to Ripple indirectly or not, or your Hederas and so on. Take you a little bit more into the outline, how FedRAMP helps government agencies, as you see here. Mentioned specifically Federal Risk and Authorization Management Program. FedRAMP authorization is a U.S. government-wide program that standardizes the federal government's approach to security assessment. Authorization continues to monitoring of that software and cloud products and services. Helps government agencies in 3 ways: standardizing security, streamlining processes, and enhancing that security. So for one, like you see here, organizations have to continuously monitor and improve their adherence to FedRAMP's security requirements. Federal agencies know that they can trust FedRAMP authorized entities with their mission-critical intelligence. All right, I did mention Quant, did I not? Well, watch this. Here's something I want to point out to you guys, because I said to myself, interesting to see like this list. And more importantly, it's like when they talk about cloud, does Oracle not come to the top of that list? Yes, it does. And just in case you missed it before, well, there's Overledger. Overledger has these Oracle Cloud infrastructure integrations. And in fact, you see this, and I've shared this before on the channel. So when you look into it, like even Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, Overledger with Oracle, all these abilities to create smart contracts and do some things to sign these transactions with the Overledger API and so on, read from the smart contract, et cetera, right? But check this out. Does Oracle have a connection to FedRAMP? Well, saying goes, boil it, mash it, stick in the stew. They do. As you see here, FedRAMP, high authorized Oracle Cloud. Oracle Cloud for Government helps agencies maximize IT investment, manage enterprise workloads, build cloud native solutions for the future. It is authorized to operate at a FedRAMP high JAB and impact level 4, providing compliant, highly secure and resilient infrastructure and solutions for the United States federal agencies, state and local offices, and government affiliated entities. That's big. And like it says also right here, Cloud Marketplace for government solutions. Visit Oracle Cloud Marketplace. All right, do we have another example? Press release all the way back February 7, 2024 from Oracle.com. Oracle Cloud Infrastructure obtains expanded FedRAMP authorization. Approves new Oracle Cloud services now available to the United States government customers. Boom. What about another example? Well, from this document from Oracle.com, you have the following services and features now available in the United States government cloud with FedRAMP authorization: Autonomous Data, Connect Your Hub, Data Catalog, Logging, Oracle Integration Cloud, and VCN Flow Logs. All right, so we established that. What about this? Other than Ripple and Hedera, who else is utilizing FedRAMP? Well, I went through this whole list, and please pay attention to this list. So we have Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud Platform GCP, Salesforce, DataBank, SpanLogic, and some of these other ones, right? All right. So not all these are connected to Quant on this list, but try to remember that list I just gave you. Here's why. So for one, boom, Overledger with Amazon Web Services, all right? The ability to do sign smart contracts and so on. You've been there and done that, okay? What's another one on the list? What about Microsoft Azure? Boom, that one's on the list. We shared this before, but again, there's a new wave of people. How about the other one on that list? Google Cloud. At least 5 integrations with Google Cloud with Quant's Overledger. Boom. And look at this. You see here Salesforce. And just in case you forgot that list, see what it said about Salesforce? Salesforce provides FedRAMP compliant customer relation management CRM solutions widely used by government agencies for data management and citizen engagement. Of course, that's from Grok. But again, like you see here on the last example, 2 forms of integration with Quant's Overledger, cloud-based customer relationship management, CRM. And then you have this other one called Form Titan. It's a robust all-in-one platform for Salesforce and other CRMs. So boom, another example. And even when we click on it to get more into it, does it have smart contract functionality and all that? It's there. So again, more examples of the Quant connection. Okay, what about Stellar though? Great question. Stellar focuses on financial inclusion and cross-border payments with partnerships like IBM's WorldWire and MoneyGram. IBM is a FedRAMP compliant provider, so Stellar's integration may indirectly use FedRAMP compliant infrastructure. However, there's no sources that confirm Stellar is self-pursuing or achieving FedRAMP authorization. Are we sure about that? Because if anything, shout out to Rue Black for the catch on this one. Listen to this. Here's the answer that you do have a Stellar connection, but it's technically with Stronghold. We're going to play this. We'll be back here shortly.
By IBM. So we are working with IBM, launching a new platform called WorldWire next year, where we are the USD settlement layer for a a network of banks. So, for example, if you wanted to send New Zealand dollars back to your friend in the US, you would use our USD token, like you would deposit New Zealand dollars into your bank here, and then it would convert over the Stellar network. And then we
Right, convert over the Stellar network. So basically, Stronghold is the settlement layer for what? IBM. So, and then the example about FedRAMP, do you not see how it all comes together? Big shout out with thanks to Rue Black over at Black Rue for the find. I know there's going to be some people in the comments. So you see FedNow, people from Metallicus and XPR are going to come out of the woodwork, and nothing against that. I welcome it. So let's address that. So I did ask this about, since, Metallicus has FedNow connection about FedRAMP, and nothing was confirmed as far as that for now. If you have information, by all means, I'm a very open-minded person. Share that with me. Follow me over at DPG Maximus. Send me a DM or tag me. Don't get too ridiculous with the tagging. Some people have gotten ridiculous with that. And I'll look more into it. But nonetheless, the conclusion they gather is that Metallicus is actively, of course, integrated with FedNow. We've been there, done that. But there's no evidence in relationship to FedRAMP, at least not for now, okay? Or not confirmed, at least from my end. Now, another big shout out to Francisco DenisLeal. According to him, in his opinion, if a network isn't collaborating and partnering with TRM Labs, there is no chance of any collaboration with the Federal Reserve / FedNow. Ooh, that's a pretty bold statement, If you like some of the material that Francisco has provided the Maximus crypto community, he's been a long-time supporter of our community. Give him a follow over at Francis37879301. Again, that's Francis37879301 on X. He has a lot of good clippings and so on and research. And if you really want to follow him on a bigger platform, he has a bigger following, he can be followed over on TikTok at FMDINIS73, as you see right here. And he has almost 10,000 people on TikTok, which is cool. But he has a lot of great little clips that you'll enjoy. He even clips me once in a while, which is kind of cool, trying to help old Maximus Crypto grow. So thank you for that, Francisco. Sideline reporter of Maximus Crypto. TRM Labs strengthens U.S. federal offerings with FedRAMP high IL4 and IL5 compliance. Now, here's why that's important. IL4 and IL5 refer to the Department of Defense impact level classification for cloud services. That's why I was giving you all those examples, especially with Quant and Oracle, right? So with IL4 protecting control unclassified information, CUI, and IL5 protecting unclassified national security systems, NSS, compliance with these levels achieved through authorization by the Defense Information Systems Agency, DISA. Man, that's a tongue twister, is it not? Requires meeting specific security controls outlined in the DoD cloud computing security requirements, such as SRG, such as FedRAMP, high baseline, proper physical and logical isolation, and restrictions on personnel access. In this particular episode of Blockstars, David Schwartz teamed up with leading experts Ari Redboard, Global Head of Policy and Government Affairs at TRM Labs, and Ronghyo Gyul, co-founder of Certic, to unravel the complexities of blockchain security. Now, you may be wondering, why would that happen? Well, if anything, it's because both of these gentlemen apparently have an NSA connection. Don't ever forget that these people that worked at the NSA, such as Ripple's David Schwartz, you don't think he might have bumped into some other key people, as we shown here with this person, Ari Redboard, which if you look into it, he was also at the NSA a while back. These connections to TRM Labs, it's a big, big deal, and not enough people are talking about it. So do me a solid if you listen to the entire outline and type in this key phrase into the comments, and that is Francisco for the win. And I'll know, and he'll know, that you listen to the entire outline. So the saying goes, know what you have, know why you hold it, the research trumps flood, 110%. May the Lord Jesus bless you all. We'll see you on the next one.